This ain't radio. You won't find it on the dial tone. This ain't radio. Hit the link to know what I'm on. This ain't radio. You know I'm finna talk my shit. This ain't radio. Go ahead, give it a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 276 of This Ain't Radio podcast with your host, Chris. Just Chris, and I'm back, my peoples, my good peoples. I'm back with another episode and another Am I the Asshole? And I'm impacted because today they are one in the same. I don't know why I'm doing the scissoring thing, but you know what I'm saying. They are linked, connected. They are the same. And then of course I'm gonna get into some quick hits. This one is just one quick hit and it might not be that quick, but we're gonna get to it. All right. So look, let's get into the I'm impacted and am I the asshole? All right, look, today's am I the asshole and I'm impacted is a personal one. All right, a personal one. So all right, so let me give you some backstory. All right, so last week me and a coworker got into an incident, right? Just an argument, not really an argument, but just like a back and forth, right? So at my job, I do quality control, and that's my main focus, but then I also do a few other things, right? Um, while I was on lunch, my coworker asked me, "Hey, when you get back, can you help me with something?" And me being the good guy I am, for sure, I got you. All right, so I'm back from lunch, and he hands me the paper. He said, "Hey, I need help finding these items." I'm like, "Okay." So I look at the paper, and I'm like, "Oh, these are items I received in the morning because I do a lot at my job, right? I just don't do one thing. All right, shipping, receiving, quality control, and I do a lot. All right." Um, so he said, "Hey, I need help finding these." I'm like, "Okay." I received these mornings, so I handed back the paper. I'm like, "Yo, they're right here," and I tell him where they're at. And then it took him a second, but he found them. Cause I was guiding him. I was like, "Yeah, they're right here. They're right there." I told him the number, where to look at, everything. And then he comes back and he's like, "Hey, why does this box not have the right label on it?" I was confused. I'm like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" He was like, "You have the right label." And then he was like, "You're gonna have to make a label." I'm like, "Why don't you just do it?" And then he's like, "Cause that's not my job." So him saying that's not my job is implying that for some reason now that's my job. And that's not my job. So I tell him, that's not my job either. And then he's like, "All right, well then we'll see next time." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And then I forgot what happens, right? And then he's like, he says something, and then I'm like, "Yo, what's your problem, yo?" I'm like, why you being like this right now? Like, what's good? Like what's going on? And then he's like, "Do what I tell you to do." I'm like, "Bro, hold on. You don't tell me what to do. All right? You don't tell me. You can't tell me what to do. You can ask me for help, but you can't tell me what to do." All right. So when he says that, then I kind of perk up a little bit, right? So I go from talking regular, like, "Man, what? No, I'm not gonna do. That's not my job either." To like, "Hold on, yo, that ain't my job. Hold on, now you don't get to tell me what to do." Right? It's a little bit, right? But I'm not yelling, but I do like perk up a little bit, right? And then he notices that, and he's like, "Relax, bro, breathe." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good, bro, but like, you don't get to tell me what to do." And then he doesn't really have an argument, right? He's trying to make an argument on why he thinks that's my job. And then I tell him, and whatever, right? At that point, I'm in. So now that I'm looking back out, I know what happened, but I can't even like put it in the proper order because I was just like locked in. Because the argument was really stupid to begin with, right? It was over a label, or at least I think it was. But then him just trying to continue an argument, he's like, "What's your job title? What's your job title?" So I tell him, "Quality control." He's like, "What else?" I'm like, "Quality control." "But what else?" "Quality control. That's my job title. That's my job title. And then so I'm not uh, I'm I'm not arguing with him in the sense of I'm trying to call him out on shit. I'm just telling him, basically trying to like, yo, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Right? And then somewhere in between that time, my manager shows up, but she doesn't break us up because we're not like yelling and trying to intimidate each other. We're kind of like just talking back and forth, but with a little bit more like, oomph in it, but we're like still talking, and we're both sitting down. And then she ends up telling me like she didn't break it up right away because she was confused on what was going on. Like, why are y'all arguing? See, he's arguing for some reason. I'm just going back and forth with him because I didn't like the way he said that to me. He was like, "Nah, you do what I tell you do what I tell you to do." I'm like, bro. So that's what's like, no, bro, you don't get to talk to me like that because you got to set the precedent, right? If I would have just shut up and did it, and he said it to me that way, now he'll feel like he has free reign to like just get at me like that all the time, and you got to shut that shit down right away. You got to shut any type of shit down right away like that because that's what's not gonna happen. All right, so we're going back and forth, and then he's like trying to find something to pin on me, right? So he could feel like he's making a point in this argument. He's trying. So now it goes from make the label to do you down stock? Do you down stock? I'm like, bro, we all down stock. And down stocking is just basically moving. It's just making sure all the boxes are full. So anything on the overhead, just bringing it down and putting items into the where it belongs, right? I'm like, bro, we all down stock. And then he's like, well, you should make more time for it. See the thing is with him, right? His his job is pick and pack, and then whatever else they ask him to do, right? So it could be down stock, it could be organized, it could be that, right? My job is to quality control, shipping, receiving. I also help out with pick and packing, even though I don't have to, right? But I do it because I ain't no asshole. And then I got to do like stock reconciliations, and then it's anything else they ask me to do. And I guess he's upset because he does more of the what they ask him to do stuff more than I do, but he also needs to realize like I do a lot more other things than he does, right? He's just a picker packer, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a picker packer. I Most of my warehouse jobs, I was picker packer. That's what I do, right? But now he's trying to argue with me, right? And then at one point, see, I be forgetting. At one point, when I guess he heard me like perk up a little bit, he was like, "Well, what you want to do?" And you know what you want to do means, right? What you want to do is an invitation to the hands if I want to. And but me, like even though I'm like locked in, I ain't gonna fight over no fucking petty shit like a label, like cause like one, I ain't no punk, but I also just ain't gonna fight over bullshit because that motherfucker want to fight. Like that's a motherfucker who don't have an argument, but can't just shut the fuck up and be like, "Are you right?" or you and just leave it and just drop it. A motherfucker always want to go to the hands, right? Because the motherfucker can't use his words. He can't he can't make his point and prove his point to justify his feelings. So since he can't do that, he has to invite you to the fisticuffs, which it wasn't at that level for me. So I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bruh? What are you talking about?" And then eventually it calms down, and the manager, she goes talks to him, and then after a while, then she come talks to me, right? She come talks to me. And then I'm breaking it down like, I know this is stupid what we're arguing about, right? But it's just he's trying to tell me that I have to do what he tells me when he tells me to do it. And I'm like, "No, that's not what it is." Right? And then then I explain like cuz it hits me. I'm like, "Oh, he's arguing about a label, but he's mistaking it for a wrong part cuz the items you got, they were very close in what they were called, but they're different." And he was wrong at the end of the day. And then my manager was like, all right, I offered him the same thing. So if you want, you can take the rest of the day off with pay, or you could stay. But if both of y'all choose to stay, then y'all both got to go home. And she told me that he said he's gonna stay. So I mean, I ain't tripping. Like I'm not gonna feel like a punk if I leave. I'm just taking the rest of the day off with pay. So that's what I end up doing. I go watch a movie. I decompress, and actually cool because that I would have like there was tension, and it just would have been tension filled for the last few hours of work, and it's better that I went home and got to watch a movie and shit. Um, then the next day, I get in. My manager, she's like, "Hey, go to the break room and write down what happened yesterday because the big dogs are coming in, and I had to let them know because she's basically covering her ass, right? Because let's just say if this went further than what it was, then I guess she would get in trouble for not informing them of what happened. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So I took, I got me a notepad, pen, and I started writing down my story. I try to be detailed as possible. Um, but like I said, right, like when you're in the moment, you're so focused on what's being said, like right at that second, that when you pull back, you're like, okay, I know all this happened, but it's all like jumbled. It's all jumbled, right? And you might not remember everything. So I try to be as detailed as possible. And then when I was thinking about it, I'm like, yo, it can't like either he had this underlying issue with me, and for some reason, what me not having the label or me not getting the items for him or whatever was like the final straw, or he's was dealing with some other shit, and the frustration got to him, and then I just so happened to be the one that pushed him over the edge and had him react the way he did. Mm. So I write my shit. Then I go walk to my desk. I tell my manager, I left it on your desk. She's like, okay, cool. So me, I'm thinking since I did it, he had done it already or was doing it while I did it. All right. So that's what I thought. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Because I knew, okay, the big dogs come in, so we're probably gonna talk about it again today. And then I'm working, and then like 30 minutes later, I see him start writing. So I'm like, oh, he's barely writing his shit. I'm like, that's weird. Okay. And then a few minutes later, I hear him talking, like talking and writing. So he's like, da da da, this, and then this and this, and then he and he. So like I'm hearing him writing, and I know it's about me. So I'm curious now, but then I'm also like, bro, like, do you not realize like I can hear you. We're like 3 feet away from each other, and you're talking and writing like you can't think it in your head and write it down. And then he steps away for a second. And then, well, before he steps away, I hear him say, oh, I got to rewrite this. So now I'm like, okay, I'm curious. But he steps away, and then I tell my manager, I'm like, hey, when he comes back, I'm going to step away because he's writing his thing, but he's like talking out loud while he's writing, and I just don't want to hear it because then it could just spark up something if I hear him like bullshitting on what's going on. And she's like, oh no, it's fine. I'll tell him to finish it over there. All right, so that's cool. But now in my head, I'm like, okay, he's gonna rewrite it. But I'm kinda curious on what he's gonna say. So in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm gonna go look for the rough draft once he's done. And that's my am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for going to go look for the rough draft of the of the letter or whatever that my coworker wrote just so I could see what he had to say about me? And then that's also my I'm impacted because that whole situation impacted me because it let me know exactly what kind of motherfucker he was or is, right? Because one, he's not the kind of person like at work. Usually it's cool. We be chilling. We'll talk, whatever, because it's work. That's just what it is. But I always knew like he's not someone I would see myself hanging out with outside of work because we're just on two different wavelengths. I'm not saying mine is higher than his or his is higher than mine. I'm just saying we're just on two different wavelengths, and I just can't see myself. Like work conversations is one thing, right? But doing that outside of work, I'm cool. I already knew that from the beginning, but I thought we were cool. We were cool at work, but then when I see this, I'm like, okay, now I can't fuck with him at all outside of work shit, because I know at work shit, like I'm gonna get over it, right? But it's like, okay, now it's just work. It's just we gonna work. If conversation happens in the warehouse and we all just happen to be involved, we all happen to be involved. But I don't see myself, at least right now, having the need to have a one-on-one conversation or just about like whatever we used to joke about or talk about. All right, but so he finishes, right, and then I'm doing some stuff, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, make sure you go look for that rough draft. I'm like, okay, he was in the break room, so there's a few plays of, and I'm thinking, okay, he threw it away. So I'm like, okay, there's a few trash cans that he could have thrown it in. So I step away from my thing and I go walk to the kitchen. And thank you, thank you, thank you. That's exactly where it was. I didn't have to go search for it. It was crumpled up and thrown on top of the trash can. And then, so what I did, I grabbed it, put it in my pocket, and went back to work. All right, went back to work. And then on my break, I walked to my car and I opened it up and I read it. And now I'm going to read it to you guys, okay? And I'm going to read it to you and then I'm going to tell you how I reacted when I first read it, okay? Okay. Um What happened on 11/12/2025 with my coworker? He titled it. Had a misunderstanding on roles that we have to do at work. He felt a certain type of way and said what my problem when I told him to do what he needs to do when I asked him. And then I told him after he got aggressive and I told him what you want to do, then he got scared. Wait, sorry, he put a period. That's why I paused. Sorry. I told him after he got aggressive and I told him, what do you want to do? Then he got scared and started acting up and getting loud. It looked like he was passed out. So I told him to relax and breathe. He couldn't. So I told him, what you want to do? Let's take a walk and air out. One, when I read that, I started cracking up because it was like, bro, like how bullshit does this sound? It's just so many contradictions, right? So I'm gonna break it down line by line, and I'm gonna tell you what's good. So had a misunderstanding on roles that we have to do at work. No, it wasn't a misunderstanding. We didn't have a misunderstanding. He had a misunderstanding on what our job title entails and what we do at work. Okay, I didn't have a misunderstanding. I know exactly what I do, and I wasn't questioning him about what he does at work. So we didn't have a misunderstanding. He had a misunderstanding, and I had to let him know that he's misunderstanding what our roles are here at this place of business. Okay. Mm. Then he says, he felt a certain type of way and said, what my problem when I told him to do what he needs to do when I asked him. That is true. I don't know if it happened in that order, but that is true. I did feel a certain type of way because he felt like he could tell me what to do and I have to do it when he says to do it. That is not that. Yes, I did feel a certain type of way. That is 100% correct because he can't tell me what to do and I don't have to do anything he says when he tells me to do it. Okay? We're peers. We just do different things, all right? And he is not above me. All right. So then he's certain type of would do at work. He felt a certain type of way when I said to and said what my problem when I told him to do what he needs to do when I asked him. Yes. And then I told him after he got aggressive. All right, so now he's saying I got aggressive. Okay, so one, okay, so remember this, right? I got aggressive. I got aggressive, okay? In his words, I got aggressive. I don't think I got aggressive, but I perked up because now I felt the way. True, but that's not aggressive. I stayed sitting down. I didn't start yelling. I might have spoke a little louder, more. This is more, sureness in my speaking, but no, I would not aggressive. Okay. And then I told him after he got aggressive and I told him what you want to do, then he got scared. Okay, so I'm aggressive and then he offers me the fisticuff. And then I got scared according to him. All right. I wonder what makes him think I got scared. Is it because I said, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm not gonna fight you"? And so he said I got scared and I started acting up and getting loud. Okay, so remember, I'm aggressive, right? He says I got aggressive, then he offered me the hands and I got scared. So if someone is aggressive and then gets scared, right? If they get scared, are they then going to start acting up and getting loud? Cuz I don't know anyone who's scared that then acts up and gets loud. And then he said it looked like I was going to pass out, right? And that made me laugh because like come on. Come on. If remember at one point my manager showed up, so if she thought like I was going to pass out, she probably would have done. She probably would have stepped in. Right? Uh he started acting up and getting loud. It looked like he was passed out. So I told him to relax and breathe. He did. But it was in a condescending way because that's when I started getting like more into it. So maybe I was speaking like this and he was just trying to like he was trying to act like he was trying to be what's the word I'm looking for? Passive aggressive, right? He was trying to be passive aggressive and try to be like he's the one playing cool, but he's the one like that started this whole thing, right? And then he couldn't. So I told him, "What you want to do? Let's take." And he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He didn't do any of that. He just should kind of find something to stick on me to help him win this argument that was really a one-sided argument. And when I read this, I was laughing because it was like full of lies. And then I'm like, where are the real details? Right? He wrote this like it was a children's book. 'Cause you know a children's book, right? They're gonna tell you what happened, but they're gonna skip the details that make it interesting because mentally they're not gonna be able to process all the details, right? Right now they don't need all the fine details. They just need this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. But not why this happened, not nothing. So I don't know what his final draft looked like. I really don't know. I don't know. But if it looked anything like this, come on, there's a reason why the big dogs kind of I'm not gonna say sided with me, right? But the points that we talked about, if they were those were the points kind of reiterated to us when they talked to us together. Afterwards, right after the big dog showed up, they talked to us separately, and then I just kind of gave him a quick rundown of what I remember and what happened, and I'm like, kind of just what I explained to y'all already. And then afterwards, she was like, "Would you guys talk together?" I'm like, "If you want, yeah, that's what. If you think that'll be better, then yes." And then so then she talked to us both at the same time with the manager, and they were like, well, one, don't challenge people on what their job duties are, right? Because that's what he tried to do. He tried to challenge me on what my job duties are because he felt a certain way about something, and I don't even know what it is, a label. And then also she was like, people deal with stuff outside of work, but we can't bring that into work and let it affect our work, right? That's what I told her. I'm like, I don't know if it's something he had building up with me or if he's dealing with something outside of work and he's brought it in and now that the frustration or whatever got to him and now I'm just the one that happened to receive, the overflow, right? When the cup overfloweth, the cup spilleth. hmm And then she was like, if anyone has questions about anybody's job duties, come talk to us, or like the manager or the big dog. They're like, come talk to us, right? If you have a problem with, if you feel like you're doing more work than someone else, don't try to take it on them. Come talk to us, right? So basically, telling them like, bro, what you did was wrong because I I feel like what I did wrong was not just removing myself from the bullshit ass argument, right? Because I could have been like, bro, whatever, like, bro, you take it up with someone else. I could have done that, right? What I did wrong was engaging because I didn't like the way he said something to me. So now I'm like, okay, well now I'm here. But I understand that the shit was stupid and it's just what it is. So, but my real thing is, am I the asshole for pulling this out of the top of the trash can like I'm George Costanza with the donut and seeing what he really had to say about me? Am I the asshole for doing that? I personally don't know. I mean, I personally don't think I am, but I want to know how y'all feel. So,
Nah, you ain't the asshole.
or
Nah, you for sure the asshole.
am I? Am I or am I not? I don't know. Y'all let me know, and hopefully, I don't get into no more arguments over some stupid shit. So now on to the quick hits. Quick hit. So this past weekend. So if anyone knows me, I am a AMC movie pass holder, A-list, right? So I pay monthly to see movies. You know, they be on some bullshit because they raise the prices in New York and California more than they raise the prices everywhere else. Piss me off. But hey, I watch enough movies right now to where it still makes sense. All right. And then they try to be like, oh, we're giving you guys one more free movie a week. So now you can watch 4 movies in a week. Look, no one's gonna watch 4 movies in a week, right? But what someone might do is watch 2 movies in a day. So what they should have done was made it an option to where you could watch 2 movies in a day instead of 4 in a week. Cause first it was 3, any format, no extra charge, blah blah, and that's solid. But okay, but that's not why I'm here. Okay, so if y'all know me, I'm an AMC guy. All right. Um, but my girl, she had told me, she was like, "Hey, there's this movie theater in Downey I want to check out." And she was like, "The Now You See Me, Now You Don't just came out." And I was like, "Well, fuck it, let's go, let's go." All right, so Saturday comes, and it and it's and so we go to the movies, and it's supposed to be a dine-in. They bring your stuff to you, but even those, right? Like at the AMC, even though they have that option where they'll bring the stuff to you, they still have a snack bar where you could just go get the shit yourself, right? And then we get there, and you walk in. There's a bar in the front. That's cool. And then we go in, and I notice they don't have a snack bar where you can walk up and just get your food. So I'm like, this is kind of weird because now I'm forced to use the app or the website and order my food there and then have it brought to me instead of just getting my popcorn and drink at the snack bar and taking it with me into the theater. All right, but you know, whatever. We're here for the experience. Check it out, see how it is. So we go in. We sit down. I scan the thing, and then I'm like, okay, I'm getting me a popcorn and a water. And the bullshit is, so usually the water cups be free, right? But they had an option for bottled water or water in like the soda cup, and then the small was like $1, the large was like $2, $2.50. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I'm like, what is some bullshit? But I get the large water and then a large popcorn. My girl gets a pizza, but with the flatbread. All right, with the flatbread pizza. All right, so we put in our order. It comes. You know, the popcorn is fine, the water's fine, whatever. Oh, sorry. Before, okay, so I put in the stuff, I put in the order, then I go to pay. I'm filling out all the stuff, and then so I go to pay, and then it says it breaks down what I got. I got this, and this, and then it's like tax, and then it's like a livable wage fee. And then it hit me. I'm like, this is some fucking bullshit because they're adding this livable wage fee to the thing So they're upcharging me more, and I don't even have the option to go get the shit myself. I have to literally pay them more to bring it to me. So it's not like it's so I I wrote down my thought. Where to get charging a livable wage fee is an admission of guilt, saying the employers don't pay the employees enough. Because now I'm paying a fee to make them feel like they're getting paid a livable wage. And I worked at a movie theater before, and trust me, it ain't no livable wage, but I ain't never charged nobody to make it feel like I'm getting paid enough to make a living at a movie theater. Because honestly, look, if you can make it in a movie theater to where you can live, to your money is good, then you hustled, you worked from the, because everyone starts at the bottom, and they work their way up if they make it, if their whole thing is I'm gonna be the a movie theater person. And trust me, working at a movie theater, you'll make no ducats, but it's fun. Um, but then yeah, all right. So then I paid this extra fee. Like I think it was like $5. It's like $5, livable wage fee. That shit kind of pissed me off. Like this is bullshit. Cause it pissed me off because I don't have the option to just go get the food myself. I I can't go get it myself, so that pissed me off. Cause now I'm forced to pay this extra fee. And then so they bring my popcorn and drink first, and then a few minutes later they bring my girl her pizza. All right, and we're watching Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and the movie starts. The movie starts, and the sound is fucked up. Right, the side speakers don't work. All the sound is coming from the back speaker that's behind the screen, and you can tell, right? Cause that's like really like the bass speaker. That's the bass speaker. So it gives out sound, but it's heavy, and then you don't get no balance from the side speakers because they're not working. So it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then the picture is really dark. This picture is really dark. It's like they have the contrast up. They have the brightness down. And I'm like, okay, I can see it, but it's like, it's dark. And then the seats. So the seats, they don't recline, but the legs lift up so you can have your legs up, which is cool, right? It's fine. I'm used to the reclining option, but the leg up is fine, right? That's fine. So I'm not tripping off of that. But my problem is these fake ass leather seats were all cracked up and worn out. So now I'm sitting on cracked up, worn out seats that the legs go up, and it just presentation wise, it doesn't look good, right? It looks bullshit, but online they're feeding it like it's a upscale experience, but it's really not. It's really low budget. It's really a low budget experience, and I'm not fucking with it. But I'm not having a terrible time, right? Because the movie is good. I fuck with the movies. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. It fits right in with the other ones, right? So it fits. It makes sense, and then good little plot twist at the end. Good little plot twist that I fuck with at the end. And then I noticed that my girl stopped eating her pizza, and I'm like, so I whispered to her like, "Yo, how's the pizza?" Because the movie's going, "How's the pizza?" She's like, "I ain't like it," and usually I'm like, ah, stop not liking food when I pay for it. Stop that. That's wasting money. And then she's like, "You want to try it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I bite it. She give me a little piece, and I try it. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, this shit is nasty." And I think what it was, is that they had like a regular spaghetti, generic spaghetti sauce out the like bottle, and they put too much on. It was too much sauce and not enough cheese to balance. I think if they would have put less sauce, because it's not even a really good sauce. It's like whatever. If they would have just put a lighter layer of sauce and then cheese, it would have been better. But the pizza wasn't good. All right, and then yeah, and then the restrooms were dirty. Yeah, it was off. That's a low budget ass theater, but I think before the pandemic, it was supposed to be the nice shit in Downey. But now it's just like low budget, and they're trying to pawn it off as some high budget shit, and it's really not. And not having a snack bar that you can go to yourself and order your stuff is also whack. I don't like that. Um, so my overall experience was like a 4 out of 10, right? Because the people there were nice, right? It's not like they were rude or anything. It's just everything else surrounding it was kind of weak. It was kind of weak. Um, yeah, so I give it a 4 out of 10, and 3 of those points go to my girl for just being there. Like me being there with my girl, like three of those 4 points that it got. Cause like nah, it wasn't the best. Like I'm an AMC guy, right? That's not even high budget shit. That's just regular ass movie theater. And that shit couldn't even hold up with AMC. That shit was worse than AMC. That's just low budget. Low budget. So I don't see myself going there again. Um Especially with me having AMC. So like I don't fuck with it. Look Dine-In Theater in Downey, man, do better. Do better. Because it's not even with the employees. They were cool, cause I like employees that don't talk to me or just come having my shit. Boo, cool, thank you. Okay, this is scan my ticket. Where am I? Okay, I'm over here. Cool, thank you, and that's it. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It's just the everything else. The seats were all cracked up and old. The fucking sound was fucking whack. The fucking seats were all cracked up and shit. The pizza wasn't even good. It's all that shit. So I don't fuck with it. It was a 4 out of 10. Probably lower than that if I'm being honest. But 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. But yeah, look. That's episode 276 of This Ain't Radio podcast with your host, Chris. Just Chris. And until next week, y'all. Peace.